But just so you know, you are on camera and there will be
Can
video
you
of
see when you're driving with the light on?
Yeah, I can see.
Alright.
That becomes a problem very, very, very rarely. It's only literally happened one time that it was an issue, and it wasn't really an issue. Like, it just came to the moment of like, oh, I get why dads want you to turn it off now. But it's greatly exaggerated, I can tell you that.
My dad got in a car accident at this intersection.
When he had his lights on, or?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Like, not the interior, just normal.
That's what I mean, yeah.
I think someone turned left in front of him, and he was dodging the car that turned left in front of him.
Interesting, yeah, no.
Anyway, yeah, my rant is my Rick Mercer. Do you know Rick Mercer?
No.
No.
Wait, that sounds
You're
familiar.
too young.
Well, who's Rick Mercer?
He was like a CBC guy. He had a show on every Tuesday night, and he did this rant, and he had like this graffiti alley in Toronto, and we'd rant about Canadian bullshit.
I see. So is this a Canadian bullshit rant?
Mine is Canadian bullshit rant about the healthcare system.
Oh, let's go. This is what I like.
So my mom died almost 8 years ago this month. And she was a professor of nursing at the University of Windsor. She taught nursing. She was the dean of nursing for a while.
Pretty ironic story coming up, right?
And then she ended up in the not long-term care, but in the hospital. So she had a long-term disease, which was a muscular disease.
Okay.
And she ended up in the hospital for 4 months before she died. Mm-hmm. And it was a fucking disaster. And like for her to have been teaching nursing forever and then ending up in the, yes, thank you, it was hot, in the nursing system, which is not nursing, but the healthcare system, which was a disaster. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we had many issues, like a bladder infection that took like 4 days to get rectified, where you could just go to your doctor at the clinic and get antibiotics in 24 hours. Yet if you're in the hospital, it takes 24 hours to pull the sample and 24 hours to get a solution and 24 hours to get medicine, and fucking 4 days later she's still waiting for medicine, right? So
and meantime you're getting worse and worse.
Worse and worse and worse, yeah. She was in ICU for a while, and then she got dropped down to, well, she was in ICU, so she needed regular blood transfusions.
Right.
And I have a picture and a video of somebody giving her some blood products, whatever, and there's like, she sprayed blood on us sitting in the chair beside, and it's all over the floor. That's a picture. And she's like, oh, sorry, did I get you? Like, it's fucking blood. Did I get you?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway.
So what do you think is leading to all these issues?
I don't know.
No, we can't leave. This is a rant. We can't be like,
I can't leave the rant on. I don't know.
Who knows?
Anyway, she left the ICU floor because they kicked her out. Okay. Even though she was barely functional, but she sat up in a chair, and then they're like, "You're
good
out.
enough. Let's
You're
go
out.
back home."
Well, not home, but to the regular floor.
Right.
But she needed this breathing machine to live, a CPAP machine.
Okay.
Or sorry, a BiPAP machine. So CPAP machine is what everybody has to sleep. BiPAP machine is extra, so they pushes the air out and pulls the air in. It's breathing for both things.
Yeah.
But she was on a floor that it was not the respiratory floor. They didn't know how to use the machine.
Okay.
So one of the nurses accidentally knocked it off while I was there. And then the water in the machine went through the hose to my mom's face. So she's basically drowning.
And you're sitting there watching.
And I'm watching. Well, I jumped to my feet. But yeah, they didn't. The nurse was like, oh my God, I knocked your machine on the floor. Meanwhile, my mother's face is like full of water. And I'm like pulling my mother up to sit up, take the machine off her face.
So had you not been there, she's basically dead there.
Maybe who knows what might have happened if I wasn't there.
Yeah. Okay.
Then there was another situation where she had thin skin, right? So sick people, old people, they get thin skin.
Right.
And she was wearing the compression stocking type things.
Mm-hmm.
So usually every night I stayed, I washed her feet, we took off the compression stockings, put some cream on. And then the one night I left, because whatever, I left. And, the nurse can do it, So then the nurse did it and accidentally rolled her knuckles along her shin, and she got these giant hematomas, like huge blood blister, bad things.
Okay.
But didn't know. So it first happened, it was like, ow, that hurts. Oh, okay, sorry. And then around 3 a.m, of course, or middle of the night, these huge blood blister things appear.
Right.
My mom's in a lot of pain. So she's pushing her button. Nobody answers. She can hear her button calling out at the call station, but nobody's coming to see what's the matter.
Yeah.
So she's like, what the hell am I going to do? So she calls the hospital. 0, calls the operator. Put me through to the 7th floor nursing station.
Okay.
She hears it, goes through. Can you come? I'm in room 703, whatever room she was in. I'm having an issue. Oh, okay. And then, so she had to call through the telephone to get them to come to her bed.
Yeah, that's pretty intense.
And then, of course, they were all horrified. Oh my God, look at what the fuck happened to your leg.
And your mom actually got in, at least. Like, she was there being or poorly treated, right? Most people don't even, like, get to go in, right? They just die waiting. So, like...
What the hell is that? Maybe
it's
move
a
over,
bus.
move over.
Yeah.
It looks like it's stopped.
No, it's just going slower than us.
It is. Well, that's really slow. What are you doing?
It's 105.
Why are you doing 100?
Yeah.
That was freaking odd.
But yeah, I don't know. Like, I can tell you, like, I meet a lot of nurses doing this job, right?
Yeah.
And every single one of them, without exception, is planning to move to the States because they pay better.
They are. So
Right.
that's the thing.
So that just makes you think, well, all the nurses here are probably just the shit tier nurses or whoever is not, can't leave,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like, you're left
Or
with a...
new. Yeah.
Right? So, like, how do you fix this? Do you give the nurses more money here? Or,
Yes.
like...
You give the nurses more money here. They make more in the States, and they're leaving for the States because we have a cap, right? Ontario has a cap for nursing. They can't make any more money.
So you would just remove the cap? Or, like, what? Like, what would be
Well,
the
and
solution?
then a lot of Ontario things are trying not to do full time, so they don't have to pay full time and benefits and whatever, right? So I would remove the cap. I would not
But you
only have part-time nurses. You want some people with some education,
But
with
you
some
wouldn't-
experience.
You wouldn't go towards, like, privatization. That's
I'm not sure. Like, sometimes I debate that. Like, I always thought privatization was a bad thing
Until you experience the public sector.
until I experienced the public
Like,
sector, and the
maybe-
privatization sector
Maybe dying for cheap isn't worth
cost
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
The privatization sector has its problems, but they cater to their clients. And
Yeah.
they want to
It's a
fix
business,
you,
right?
and
Yeah.
they want to do the best job, so they get more people coming to them, right?
So I'm sure your mom probably, like, she was a professor of medicine, right? She ought to have some opinions about this whole thing too, right?
Well, by the end, no. She just wanted to have the best experience possible. She didn't want me to complain. She didn't want anybody to know she was complaining, because then she didn't want to be treated worse, right?
I
Oh,
see.
she's complaining. We're not gonna. Yeah.
Well, they almost drowned her. It can't get much worse than that.
She had a roommate who had nobody, no family. So, like, we were family. We would be there 12 hours a day. My dad, my brother, myself.
Right.
And we were in the doorway, like, we need help. She had a roommate with nobody. And the roommate said to me one night, she cried. She's like, I would be better off if I had an alcoholic boyfriend who at least could stand in the doorway like you and help me
Then the nurses.
than the nurses, because I have nobody who will fight for me. Like, she had bed sores with a diaper,
Yeah.
and she would call for help, and I recorded it. An hour later, she's still asking for help. And then when they would come, they would say, oh, you shouldn't have peed in your diaper. You have sores. And she's like,
What
I've been
the
asking for an hour for help.
Shouldn't have peed.
You shouldn't have peed in your diaper.
Interesting.
You should call for help. She's like, I did.
I'm gonna remember that when I have a kid myself and be like, you shouldn't have peed in your diaper. But yeah, I don't know. To me, it looks like privatization might be the route.
It might be.
Like, I
might
know
be.
how much Canadians love their free healthcare system.
We do.
That's the one thing they're like, oh no, we can't be part of America because they don't have free healthcare. But I feel like that's actually negative on our country. I don't know.
Yeah, if you were, for Canada, if you're dying, well, my mom was dying, but if you're dying of an obvious dying, like a big cancer or whatever,
Yeah.
Canadian free healthcare, you get the best possible. But if you're sick, but you're not dying, or you're slowly dying, I feel like you don't necessarily get the best healthcare
So
system.
why is it that if you're for sure dying, they give you the best treatment?
Because you're like top of the rung.
I see. So it's
desperately
like
needing-
priority based.
Priority
I
based.
see you say that, but the lady with the bed sores peeing in her pants, like that sounds like 1 hour. It sounds like, you know, that she should have some level of priority better than that. No, am I
You'd
wrong?
hope, yeah.
But no,
the
right?
other thing she always
guess she
just
wasn't
totally
dying,
think of her. Yeah, when she first came in, I think she came from long-term care.
Mm-hmm.
So she would ask the nurses, "Could you bring me a tea with a rolling boil?
Oh,
I like a
shit.
rolling boil." And I remember thinking, like,
So they-
wow, that's a lot to ask. It's
So
like
they just
the
didn't
nurses
like
don't
her
have
from the
fucking
start.
time to bring you a rolling boil, right?
Yeah.
But then later, I'm like, is it so much to ask for a fucking cup of tea with a rolling boil? It's not really that much to ask.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not. I like a rolling boil at home.
But again, that's the idea of privatization, right? If you're in a business, if you're at a hotel, there you can call room service as many times as you want. They'll bring you what you want, right?
Yes.
So, I don't know.
I don't know.
You would never go to a hotel run by the government, right? The room service is not going to work. But somehow for healthcare, we're like, yeah, we should have the government do it.
Yeah.
I don't
not
know.
sure. Not
I don't
sure
know.
it's
It's
the
a
best
sticky
thing.
situation. Yeah. The problem is money, right? Like, if private healthcare could be cheap, then
It is, but you know what? So my final thought as we pull closer to my house
Mhm.
is the hospitals used to be run by the church.
Okay.
They were to take care of the sick and dying.
I didn't know that. I
And
had no
now they're
idea.
fucking moneymaker, privatization, public funds, beasts.
Yeah.
They're not run by the church. They fucking took Hotel Dieu, it's about the God, Hotel God,
Right.
off the fucking church, off the hospital.
So when did this happen? This
The last 10, 20
separation
years.
of church and hospital?
Yeah,
10, 20 years?
yep.
Really?
Well, Hotel Dieu totally had its name changed, and Jesus, no, Joseph was out front. He got
Interesting.
taken off the wall.
Interesting. I had no idea.
So when it was about helping people and end of life and church, God, it was caring.
but where did
Now
they
it's
get
a
their-
money maker. You don't fucking make us money, get the fuck out.
But like, did they get their money from like a church donation?
I have no
thing, or
idea.
How did that
I
work?
couldn't tell you how it used to work.
All right. Well, that's for the audience to Google and figure out later. All right.
Okay, turn me off.
All right. Thanks a lot for doing the thing, though. Much appreciated.